World War II, fought from 1939 to 1945, was a transformative global conflict that profoundly impacted the modern world. Spanning multiple continents and involving more than 100 million people from over 30 countries, it was one of history's most devastating wars, causing approximately 70 to 85 million deaths, including soldiers and civilians alike. This war not only changed international borders, but also influenced political, social, and economic structures worldwide. The war's origins trace back to unresolved tensions from World War I, the harsh Treaty of Versailles, and rising totalitarian regimes in Europe and Asia. The Treaty of Versailles in 1919 left Germany with economic hardship and political instability, laying the groundwork for Adolf Hitler's rise to power. By the 1930s, Germany, Italy, and Japan were driven by expansionist ambitions, each seeking greater global influence. Together, these nations formed the Axis powers, with a shared goal of territorial expansion and reshaping international boundaries. The conflict officially began on September 1st, 1939, when Germany invaded Poland. In response, Britain and France declared war on Germany, marking the start of large-scale hostilities. Germany quickly overran Poland using blitzkrieg tactics, or lightning war, a strategy characterized by swift coordinated attacks using infantry, tanks, and air support. This allowed the Nazis to capture much of Europe rapidly. By 1940, Germany had occupied Poland, Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and France, establishing a Nazi-controlled European empire. Italy joined Germany soon after, hoping to expand its territories in Africa and the Mediterranean. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, Japan pursued its own imperialistic goals, expanding into China and Southeast Asia. The 1937 invasion of China marked the beginning of large-scale violence in Asia, with atrocities such as the Nanjing Massacre demonstrating the brutal methods Japan would use. The conflict in the Pacific intensified in 1941 when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7th, bringing the United States into the war. President Franklin D. Roosevelt declared this a day of infamy, and the U.S. quickly joined the Allied powers, which included the United Kingdom, the Soviet Union, China, and others. This transformed the war into a truly global conflict. From 1942 onward, several pivotal battles began turning the tide in favor of the Allies. In Europe, Operation Barbarossa, the German invasion of the Soviet Union in June 1941, resulted in one of the largest and deadliest campaigns in history. The harsh Russian winter and fierce Soviet resistance ultimately halted the German advance at Stalingrad in 1942-43. The Battle of Stalingrad became a turning point on the Eastern Front, with heavy casualties on both sides. Simultaneously, in North Africa, the Allies won a decisive victory at El Alamein in 1942, stopping Axis advances toward the Middle Eastern oil fields. In the Pacific, the United States halted Japanese expansion at the Battle of Midway in 1942. This crucial battle marked a turning point in the Pacific theater, allowing Allied forces to adopt an island-hopping strategy, gradually reclaiming territories from Japanese control. Key battles on islands like Guadalcanal, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa brought the Allies closer to Japan's mainland, but at a tremendous cost in lives. In 1944, the Allies launched D-Day on June 6th, a massive amphibious invasion of Nazi-occupied France. Codenamed Operation Overlord, this operation involved Allied forces storming the beaches of Normandy, facing heavy resistance. Despite severe casualties, the invasion succeeded, allowing the Allies to liberate France and push into Germany. The combined efforts of the Western Allies and Soviet forces moving from the east eventually encircled and captured Berlin, leading to Germany's surrender on May 7, 1945. This marked victory in Europe, VE Day, on May 8, 1945. However, the conflict continued in the Pacific. To force a swift Japanese surrender and avoid further massive casualties from a mainland invasion, the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki on August 6 and August 9, 1945, respectively. These bombings caused unprecedented destruction and loss of life, leading to Japan's surrender on August 15, 1945, known as Victory over Japan, VJ Day, which officially ended World War II. The consequences of WW2 were vast. The Allies convened to redraw borders and hold Axis leaders accountable for war crimes, including the Holocaust, which had resulted in the genocide of 6 million Jewish people and millions of other targeted groups. The Nuremberg trials sought justice for some of these atrocities. In 1945, the United Nations was established to promote global peace and cooperation, marking a new era of international diplomacy. The war also set the stage for the Cold War, with the United States and the Soviet Union emerging as superpowers. This ideological and geopolitical rivalry between capitalism and communism defined global politics for decades. Additionally, European empires weakened by the war could no longer maintain control over their colonies, accelerating the process of decolonization across Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. World War II remains one of history's most studied events, not only for its scale and devastation, but also for its profound impact on global governance, technology, human rights, and the world order. It serves as a stark reminder of both the destructive power of conflict and the ongoing importance of diplomacy and international cooperation.